Good evening, everyone, and we are back this week. Welcome to this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. I'm going to run our intro, and we shall return shortly. All right, ladies, we are back. So, of course, I have my wonderful co-host, ladies.
I'm Shanetta. Katrina.
And I am Samantha. Listen, we're gonna get this right one of these weeks. Hey, Lisa, thanks for sharing. So, ladies, we missed a week. It was a rough for last week, but we are back and we are going to tackle this topic. So, let me just kind of, in my mind, right? I see so many things going on in the news, and you got these people, the whole to get a shot, to not get a shot. You got the people that are on this side with the government, pro life and pro choice. And then you got you can be whatever you feel like in the morning. And then, the people are, you're what you're born as. And I was just thinking, like, when you sit down and you have an intelligent conversation with someone, or if you do research, or if you find that maybe your opinion hurts somebody or your perspective is harmful to others, can you be persuaded? Can you be persuaded to see, even if you don't change your mind, but to kind of see the other person's point of view, or kind of walk a mile in somebody else's shoes? I know everybody has their core beliefs. You have what you believe in. Look, this is what I believe, and you stand by what you believe. But can you be persuaded? I don't know, maybe just to be a little more compassionate towards someone else, or just to be able to agree to disagree, or you like, nope, this the way it's been done in my family. The women in my family have always done this for the last 30 years, and I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do it too. Are we steadfast, unmovable, even when we're wrong? Or is there wiggle room? So, Shanette, I see you smiling. So I'm gonna start with you.
If you ask my kids, they were probably like unmovable. She never changes her mind. She always thinks she's right. That's that. There it is. I would have to say though that I'm definitely one that's open to hearing perspectives. It does not mean that I'm going to change my mind, but I'll definitely hear you out. I will listen to your perspective. I can agree to disagree, and I can do that in a way that's not harmful to the relationship. That's something I had to learn. That it's okay to not have the same opinion, and it's okay for us to still be connected in some way and not have the same opinion. It doesn't. Now there are certain things where, like, if we just don't have the same opinion and it's harmful to one or the other, we probably can't still kind of commune together, depending on what that might be. But we have so many issues, I think, in society now that tear us apart, that we just don't need more. So if it's something that doesn't have to be a make or break, then I think that we should be able to disagree and kind of keep it moving. I think race is one of the issues that we probably can't disagree on and still associate with one another. That's probably not going to work out so well, considering that I'm a nice little brown chick. And if you don't like brown people, we're not going to really, there's no way to make this thing work. That's going to kind of be hard. But you could tell me something, as a person of another race about a group of people that you don't necessarily agree or like. And I can have a conversation with you about it without it being, um, you know, a whole, World War III or anything, if you can talk to me the right way. So I think it depends on the situation. It depends on the approach of the person, because there are some people that just want to argue. And I don't like, I'm at a place in life where I just don't believe in that either. Like, I'm probably not going to argue with you. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. You can tell me how you feel about something, and we're gonna move on. But I'm sure not gonna go back and forth with you. I can remember this one time. This was back in the day too. Um, I'm not. Lord, please don't let this get me in trouble with church people. Um, I'm not. I'm not the street witnesser. I'm not the person that can go like from door to door or like be out in the streets witnessing to people.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that person. And I know like when we're in church, they're like, everybody should be able to, spread the word and go to the hedges and the highways and compel men and women to come. I'm not that person. So it's really hard for me to kind of be that person, like to go and persuade someone to believe in Jesus when they don't want to. And I'm just kind of like, I believe in them. This is why I believe in them. I love the Lord with all my heart. And I would encourage you, admonish you to get to know him. And if you don't want to and you still believe in whatever you believe in, okay, have a nice day. Talk to you later. That's all I got. I'm not gonna have the biblical debate with you. And I can remember this one time we went, I don't know where we were. We were like in downtown Atlanta or something, and it was rough. It was like a rough space. And number one, if you know anything about me, you already know that like I'm from Detroit, but I'm really not really your hood friend. Like I'm from Detroit, and like my family is, right there. Like I know how to survive in the hood, but like I'm not the hangout in the hood friend. Like I hear gunshots and I kind of like, I'm ducking and covering. I'm not looking around to see like, is it Pookie and them shooting like which team? I'm not. I'm just not that person. So, we were kind of in a rough area, and we were supposed to be witnessing to these people. And I was listening to the people I was with, and they were like having these back and forths with these people. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work for me. And this guy was like real serious about, no, and I don't believe this, and I don't believe that, and the Bible is that's not what the Bible means, and da da da. And I just kind of slowly tipped away, like, I'm gonna go over here because this is not my conversation. And I don't know if that means that I kind of like suck as a witness or something. I'm not sure. But like I really still like, I'm not going to, you can't persuade me to change my mind, but I'm also not going to try to change yours either. So I'm going to walk away and I'm going to let you have it. And that's kind of, I think, where I stand on a lot of things. So I'm not going to try to totally convince you unless it's like something that I need to convince you of. Like you can't, I'm not going to debate with you whether or not the sky is purple. You think the sky is purple? That's fine. It's purple sky, and you have a nice day with your purple sky and bluegrass. I don't know what to tell you. I'm crazy.
Okay. So, Trina, hold on. So before you talk, so I'd actually went. Hi, honey bunnies. So I was actually at this job interview once, and I was interviewing, and it was two people in there. It was a guy and a man and a woman, and the man starts telling this story. Um, he tells me this story how a woman teaches her daughter how to make a chicken, and so they put the whole chicken in the pan, and the feet like always hang out the pan. But this is how she made the chicken with the feet and everything. So, years pass. So now the little girl that was taught, she's older. She's now teaching her daughter how to make the chicken. And, she's trying to stuff these feet that are kind of hanging out. And I'm probably messing up this story, but y'all will kind of get the gist of it. So the little girl says to her, like, Mommy, like, what's the deal with the feet? Like, why are you trying so hard to whatever? And she was like, and then, on top of it, they never eat the feet. Like once the chicken is cooked, they eat the chicken, but they never eat the feet. But they cook it all in the pan like that. And so the girl asked her mom, like, Mom, why do you, why are you keeping it and we're not gonna eat it? And she's like, I don't know, that's just the way we've always done it. And he told the story because he was trying to see, like, if taking a position, if I was willing to do things differently, or if I was just gonna be the person that go along with the, I don't know, let's keep the feet anyway.
Right. Go along
I,
to get along.
right. And I always think about that, even though it's like the weirdest story to tell somebody at an interview. And yes, he looked like me. He was just like this with the weird story. But I think about that a lot. Like, do we have those types of things, that we just pass down? Like, it don't make sense. It's not even useful, but we'll keep the feet on the chicken just because somebody else did it.
Mm-hmm.
So Trina,
Um, I feel like I'm definitely open to hearing your whatever you have to say. No, I will listen and I will really try to understand your side. And I think um that in the field that I worked in, I practiced on both sides of the table. So I represented the injured worker and also represented the insurance carrier who was like trying to deny the injured worker.
right.
So I felt like I could always see both sides, and I kind of feel like um, that was kind of easy for me, just because I feel like I can always. Oh, I understand. I understand where you're coming from, and not agree with it, and still I can, empathize with your position. You're probably not going to change my opinion, but I can see it. I get that. That makes sense. And being able to see somebody else's position also helps your position, because you can also build up your side, and say, well, I understand that you said this, but this is why I said that, to combat what you said. So seeing the other side helps your position sometimes as well, and it also shows the weaknesses in your argument also. um Probably won't be able to change my mind too much. I'm very duly noted. I'll take that under advisement. Heard you. But especially if my mind is made up about something. Okay, I got you. And I will also agree with Shanetta. I feel like I'm the same way with regard to the whole witnessing thing. I'm really not gonna try to persuade you too much, but I'm gonna tell you, this is what I believe or whatever. I strongly feel, and I've felt this way for a very long time, that the best witness is your life. You know what I'm saying? That's the best witness. So if you see me living a certain way, and you see me going through certain things, and how I deal with it, and how I go to the Lord, and how I, you know, get through it with my
Mhm.
faith or whatever, then that's going to be a better convincing witness than me telling you or trying to convince you.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
Yeah.
Um, so I have to say I'm not really, like, I could probably see your point, but like, yeah, I can be um a bit much. Like, I say that a lot. Yeah, like, I'm a bit much. So it's very hard for me sometimes to see something and not say something. Like,
I just
when,
remembered a conversation that I know that you were not being persuaded.
oh God, right. Like, when I feel, and that's the thing, like, when I feel some way about something, yeah, like, unfortunately, and I'm trying, I'm trying to get better with it. Like, I can be a little over the top, but sometimes for me, persuasion kind of, I have this thing about being bullied. Let me just say this. So, it's a big, big trigger for me, even at this age. In school I was always the shortest kid. They line you up. I was always the first kid. Don't matter what grade I was in, I was always the first one. So like people always felt like they could try to be polarizing because you 5 feet in the third grade, like weird stuff. So it when it comes to kind of trying to be persuaded, sometimes I think for me it comes across as bullying. Like you're trying to bully me to feel how you feel. And it just invokes a different kind of response for me.
So, are you one that if um midway through a conversation, you actually hear something that makes you say, well, but because I've been sticking to this point, I got to stick to my point now. I got to stick it out. I can't change my mind now. Even though I heard something that might make me lean, I'm going to stick it out just because I'm not going to let you bully me into changing my mind right now.
Um, I think sometimes like I'm so adamant about about what I'm thinking or my position, I don't even think I hear you. Like I hear your voice, but I don't hear your point. Like I hear you talking, but it's kind of like,
Charlie Brown.
sound waves. It's kind of like bouncing off. It's really not penetrating. Maybe like later on, like on the way home or something,
Mm-hmm.
or when I'm telling Anthony about it, I might then be like, oh, you know what? They did say such and such and such. And I'll be like, oh, well, I didn't catch it. That's kind of, oh, that's kind of like a be my response. I'd be like, oh, I didn't catch it. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe next time we'll talk about it or whatever. But I kind of in the moment, I don't really hear those things. And so the second part of this conversation, it kind of made me think, like, how does that translate in our community, in our surroundings? Like for me, like I know even like within my family, listen, I'm the oldest of five. You want to see four people get hot to death? My siblings, whew, if they could vote me out the family sometime, vote me off the boat. What's that song? Throw me overboard. Like, child, if they could throw me overboard and then save me later when they felt better, I think they definitely would. Because sometimes I guess it could come across like, it's not as pleasing to others. And that's what's kind of made me kind of feel like, sometimes maybe I need to adjust, not necessarily how I'm feeling, but how I'm communicating what I'm feeling. So, like now for most things, I'll try to just not say anything. I'll try to keep my opinion kind of to myself and you know, oh hey Michelle. Kind of think of, the greater good, I guess, in some instances and not give my opinion. I've bowed out gracefully sometimes some stuff. I'm like, yep, nope, not today, not my circus, not my monkeys. And I keep it moving because I know like I'm not gonna bring anything productive to the conversations. So how do you guys handle it and when I say communities, I mean like your circle of people. How do you handle it?
Just in response to what Shanetta was saying before, it's like it depends on how you're trying to persuade me whether I will dig my heels in and just be like, nope, nope. It depends on how you're talking to me. Like if if you're coming at me sideways, ain't no way I'm about to change my opinion. Even if I slightly might agree, I'll be like, you know what, you can look at it that way, and I'm gonna go right back. But like if we haven't if we having a an intelligent discussion about it, then we can, like, I can see that, blah, 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 whatever. But if you coming at me sideways, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm really digging my heels and I'm not trying to hear you. It is, I mean, that could be right or wrong. Maybe that's something I need to work on. But yeah, don't talk to me any old kind of way, because then I'm really not gonna we're not gonna have a productive discussion. And I'm probably just gonna shut down and be like, all right, thank you. Click.
I feel like we're the same person in 3 locations. It's, I mean, I think I'm the same way too. Is that it's all in the approach of the attempt of persuasion. Like if you're trying to um control me into your opinion, it's probably not gonna work out so well. Like I'm not sure if I will or will not hear you. I guess it depends on how intense it is as to whether or not I'll actually hear you. And be able to, or have to think it through later, or hear myself say what you said out loud. And then I'm like, oh, well, it is what it is now. I stuck it out and here we are. So whatever. I think it all is all about that approach. If you're trying to convince me of something that I really don't believe in my heart of hearts, like there's no way. I'm probably just I'm going to listen to what you're saying, and I'm going to be like, yeah, that's a way of thinking about it, but it's not the way I think about it. So, have a lovely day, have a nice day. If I feel like it's a sword I need to die on, and I feel like I need to really absolutely tell you why I feel the way I do, then I'm probably going to yell it at you and kind of keep it going, especially if you're trying to out-talk me. I mean, it just depends on where we're going, who we're talking to. Like, I might have to yell my point across at you and just kind of keep it moving. But I guess it really depends on the person, the situation, and how much it matters and how much they matter. Because if there's somebody that really doesn't matter, why am I having an argument? You don't matter. Why am I having this argument with you? But if it's somebody that's really important to me, if it's somebody that I value the connection that we have, and you're trying to persuade me of something, I feel like I owe you enough respect to hear you out, because you're of value to me. And I feel like if I'm of value to you, then you owe me enough respect to hear me out as well. So sometimes I guess it's not necessarily about being moved, but it's about whether or not I'm going to hear you out determines the place value you have in my life. Because yeah, if it's my husband, he matters. Right. So I kind of need to hear him out, and I need to hear why he feels differently on something than I do. And it may not necessarily be that he persuades me. It may be that I just concede to the idea of whatever it is he's trying to do, until I can prove that I was right all along. And then I'm going to be like, well, how'd that work out for you? Okay, let's talk about it. Just depends on the situation, because I will bring stuff back up too. Like if I end up being proved right, I'm probably going to come through with a little, shoulder shake, let's go. Okay, let's keep it moving. And then I'll keep it moving and kind of go from there. It just depends.
Okay, so in the instance that you're proven wrong, would you go back and then be like, no, whatever, or do you just double down on it?
I think I would go back. If it's with my husband, I could go back and be like, dang, I was wrong. Sorry about that. My bad. My kids, I had a conversation with one of the kids. I can't even remember which kid it was, but they proved me wrong about something. And when they did, it was like, you ain't gonna even say you sorry. And I was like, no, because you should have listened to me. So it was kind of like one of those moments. I have a kid in my class right now that when he proves me wrong on something, which is very rare, because he randomly says this, he'll be like, exactly. And like 5 minutes later, he'll be like, I exactly'd you. He made that up, so I don't know what it means. But like he kind of explained that whenever he can say exactly and he's actually right, that he exactly'd me. And so his expectation is that, I respect the exactly when he says it. And he'll usually be wrong when he pulls it up. And I'm like, but that doesn't count because you're still wrong. But whatever, kid. Like, let's keep it moving. But that's like his little thing. But with the kids, I'm trying to learn how to say, oh, look at that. You were right. My bad. I was wrong.
The kids, you mean your kids or you mean your students?
Them students be wrong all the time. I'm talking about my actual, like, when my students think they're right, they're usually wrong. So, like, it's funny. And I laugh with them about it. But I'm like, I was still right. You should listen to me. You should really listen to me. Like, they pay me for you to listen to me.
Okay.
I think it makes a difference too if in the situation if the person is hearing your position as well. If they're open to hear your position, then that makes a difference on how you respond. If they're just doubling down and they're coming at you, da, 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 but they can't hear you, then it sets up a situation where you're just. But if both parties are again, there's a connection and you're trying to, this is a person that's important to you and you're actually listening to each other, then it definitely makes a difference. Um, and it actually makes it easier for you to come back and say, yeah, I was wrong. And I also make a point, as a parent, that when I am wrong, to say to my children, because I don't know how much I had that, especially from my father. Well, it's true for him to say, "Yeah, I was wrong." It was like, well, don't talk back, and I'm do as I say type stuff, and I just don't want to have that. You know, so if I'm wrong, I just be like, well, you was right, I was wrong, because I think it's important to have that with my children so that they can feel the same way and express those same things to me.
Do they recognize that when you do that?
Yeah, it's a big deal because I don't be wrong that much.
Right.
So when I am wrong, like, yeah, you're wrong.
Okay, so what happens in instance when we aren't wrong? Say you aren't wrong, but you just feel like the conversation didn't go the way you planned it. Look, I'm not wrong. Like I'm definitely right. Like do you try to mend the fence? Do you go back or do you like, well, I was right and they was wrong, so whatever?
I think it might be on the person who was wrong in the conversation to maybe mend or correct or come back and say something. I think that it might feel like if I'm right and it turns out that it's a proven thing somehow or another that I'm actually right, if I come back to you after this conversation where we walked away disagreeing, it's almost like I'm coming to like rub it in your face that, hey, did you see that on the news? Did you find I was right? And depending on the person and the situation, you may or may not want to do that. If it's a lighthearted situation, then it might be okay if you're kind of cool with the person on that level. But if it was really something intense and something very strong that you all were kind of engaged about, it may not be okay for you to be the person to revisit it. It may have to come from that other person for it to be something that won't cause more tension between the two of you. And I think that's the key thing is the value of the relationship and the tension that it will or will not cause to go back and revisit the conversation. If it's so intense that you can't have a conversation about it without it turning into something else, then it may not be worth revisiting because of that. Just kind of depending on relationship factors, I think.
I think sometimes though you again depending on the relationship and who that person, the connection, who that person is to you, sometimes you're not even revisiting the substance of the conversation. You just want to heal the relationship or just check in and make sure we good though, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, regardless of what that was, we good, you know, we okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you just want to, like, at that point, I guess you're agreeing to disagree or whatever the case may be. But again, if that person is important to you, you kind of check in and make sure that y'all still good, and you know you can move on from it, even if you know don't visit, if you don't revisit the actual substance of that conversation.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's you're saying only reconciling if you want to continue the relationship. Like, have you ever had a situation where you kind of wanted to, I don't know, kind of, I guess not reconcile, kind of clear the air with somebody,
Mhm.
but you don't really have a desire to rekindle the relationship?
Absolutely.
I mean, like we all go to church, so you know how sometimes things happen in church, and you got to see the person or whatever, and you're not necessarily angry or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but you're like, yeah, you're not really my type of person.
Yeah.
I mean, that those are my words, so I hear my words sometimes be a little. So I
I
mean,
think
what do you do?
when somebody's really not my cup of tea, I've probably already placed them in the box of devalue. Is that the box that is that what I don't want to call it that. That's not what I want to call it. Um, you've already kind of been placed on this side of things, and once you're already on this side of things, um, it's literally going to take Jesus himself to come and pick you up and move you back to this side of things. So once you kind of make it on this side, it's kind of like the abyss, and it's like a black hole, and like you've just been, and Jesus has to fish you out and place you back on dry land. I don't know. Okay, I'm not always like, once I move you, you've been moved, and it's probably not. There's no value for me left for me to even try to clear the air. I can speak and I can smile and I can keep walking and not really have any, like, no hatred, no animosity, no disdain. I can look at you. I could even like have a conversation with you and not have any, disdain or any type of feelings or feel any type of way, because I don't have there. It's kind of like talking to a stranger or a person that you don't really know at that point for me. It's kind of like you've been moved from familiar to unfamiliar. So we can talk about the weather. We can talk about, oh, that was a good word. Yes. Have a nice Sunday. See you later. And I'm okay with that. And I really, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I have no hatred. I have no, like, you just kind of been placed in stranger category. I've been using all these dark words. You're kind of like a stranger. So like the relationship is not there because you kind of gone back into the I don't really know you, because I probably really didn't know you. And that's probably why because like I'm like, oh, we clearly don't know each other. So like let me put you back over here with the people I don't know. So
Trina,
I've gotten in so much trouble tonight.
that definitely was a lie.
um Sometimes there's no need to, like, if you're not gonna pursue a relationship or a friendship or whatever, then if it might not be even, you might not even need to clear the air. Just, you over there, I'm over here. Because you know what it is, and this is something that I discovered a few years ago. I heard it and it made so much sense to me, that the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So it's like, because with hate, you have to feel something, you have to have some emotions attached to it to actually actively hate somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to indifference, it's just like, You know what I mean? And so when I find myself there at indifference, I feel like I'm good because I'm not feeling nothing. I'm not feeling no hate. I'm not feeling no animosity. How you doing? And it's all good. I mean, so I don't feel always the need to go ahead and clear the air because for what?
I feel like clearing the air is for people who you're trying to recover something with.
Right. Right.
And if there's
I
nothing
agree.
to recover, if we're not at a place where we can even have like a connected relationship, is not anything that we need to clear the air about. You have your opinion about me, about the situation. I have my opinion about you, about whatever the situation is. So it's okay for us to have a difference of opinion, go our separate ways, and do our own thing. And and still be like, okay, and not like, it's not like hatred. Like I kind of like what you said about how the opposite of love is not necessarily hate. And it doesn't mean that I don't even that I don't love the person as a person, because I also feel like I love everybody as like individual people. I may not trust you, I may not put you in the category of closeness to me, but it doesn't mean that I won't be like, oh man, like if you get hit by a bus, I'm not gonna be like, yep, that's about right, that's what they deserve. No, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I would like really have like real feelings about it. There's nobody on this planet that if like they got hit by an 18-wheeler or a bus that I would be like, yeah, that's about right, that's what they deserve, have a nice day. I wouldn't feel that way because I'm just not that kind of person. But I mean, so you still love a person without even having a real relationship or a connectedness with them. It's just like, I mean, I don't deal with you like that. I have a good, I can probably list more people that are on the side of this side of things with me than I there's a lot of people I don't deal with, man. I just don't deal with people. Like once I see one or two things, and it may not even have been towards me. I can see you do one or two things towards somebody else, and I probably like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna deal with them. That's not cool. Like I don't like that. And I just probably won't. It's not that I dislike you. I just don't deal with you.
But you never have the conversation either. You never tell them, because
For
sometimes,
what?
like, well, because sometimes people do things inadvertently. Like sometimes some of the things I do have been out of habit. It may have been a bad habit, but if no one's ever said,
If
Sam,
you shady, you just shady,
but
and
that's
like
not necessarily. If
you
I
are
grew up,
you
listen,
are in the shady boots category, and I am not dealing with you because I see you be shady with so and so.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, what if I was raised in a shady family, like my mama's shady, like I don't.
You and your shady mama sitting over there in this category. I'm sorry.
Being sorry.
But I'm saying how if you don't, if it's never brought to my attention, right? How do I, maybe I don't realize that I do it.
Hmm.
You don't think that's possible? You don't think that I can just really not realize that I do it?
Do what?
So
Well, it
okay,
depends. It depends though, because you have to be like offensive to get to where I'm indifferent towards you. You have to like actively almost try to be offensive toward me. You know what I mean? I don't think you can inadvertently get me to you know what I mean? Like you can't. I don't know if you can. She was saying you see somebody else do something, but like I think you have. For me, you have to kind of purposely like offend me, like on purpose, and I
But
see
how do you
it.
but how do you know it's on purpose? That's what I'm saying. Like,
You know, you know when people. People be doing too much. Cause I'm forgiving. I let you slide a whole bunch of times. Like if you, child.
Listen, there's a person that I know right now, and like sometimes they shady, sometimes eh, I find some of the things they say offensive, but like I 100% believe like they don't know no better.
To
Like
you, like offensive, like to you,
they'd be
or
offensive to
just in general.
it could be anybody. Like it's just they get to talking and ain't no telling what's gonna come out.
So how do you clear the air with someone like that? Like you wait until they do something that's personally offensive to you and you say, "Hey, you did this, it offended me. Please don't do that to me again," and then see if it happens again.
I mean, that's definitely one approach that can be taken. Yeah. Y'all
I'm
faces are
probably just,
killing me.
I'm probably just gonna put you. I'm probably just gonna put you in the category of shady and leave you there. I probably wouldn't even approach you like after a certain because of the value, and that takes me back to the value. If you're not a person that really means a lot to me, I'm probably not going to approach you. Which I'm probably just be like they just like that, and like it is what it is. If it's somebody that means something to me, then I will probably say. But after so many times of me having to say, what are you doing? Like you keep doing that to me after so many times, I'm gonna stop dealing with you too.
Well, I didn't say so many times. I'm just saying, like, I feel like some of these things, right? Like, make us so disjointed in our communities because things happen. Sometimes we find things offensive, sometimes we don't believe like you believe, we don't like you like, and we don't communicate effectively. We just, like you said, put them over there in the dark. You go stand in the dark, you want to time out, and I'm not gonna talk to you, I'm not going to deal with you. And then nothing, no matter what happens, we not changing our mind. You just over there, like you said, like I don't hate you, I don't, because, and I can be honest, like I find myself, I get like that too, like I don't feel nothing for you, nothing. Like i I see you and not see you all at the same time. And like I've been consciously trying to you know, change my way of thinking and not be so dismissive
I like that word.
or scissor happy, ready to cut people off all the time. Um, because I'm trying to, I don't know, in my mind, kind of keep in mind of the bigger picture.
So, do you feel like when you cut people off in that manner or when you are dismissive on that level that it makes you less connected to the community or to um groups that you're a part of because you know that you can be that way?
Absolutely. I think it makes you less connected just in general, because I feel like sometimes we get to the point where we're who was it? Was it you, Trina, saying you always looking for somebody to be the unsub? Like, you watching in the group, waiting for the unsub to pop their head out because you know you like, oh, okay, as soon as somebody do this, I'm done. Oh wait, what'd you say to her? Oh, you know,
See, I don't know that I'm quick to cut people off. I feel like you never got all the way in.
right,
You know what I mean? To be cut off. So I feel like if you got close enough, then you know me, and then you are being purposeful. You know what I mean? Like if I feel like I need to cut you off and I gotta be all that, that means I let you in.
Right.
So most people don't even get past into the
right.
like most people can't even do or say too many things to hurt me because I didn't let you that far in.
You
So
weren't
if
too
I'm
close.
if I'm feeling like I need to cut you off and I feel offended by something that you did, that means I let you in already. That means you know me, so you're purposefully offending me at that point.
But I mean, I think sometimes like past experiences get you to where you like hands off, like coming in, I ain't coming in hot. You got to give me, you had to give me 50 feet when I meet you. And then,
Yeah.
that 50 might turn to 45, then might turn to 40. And I'd be like, you back to 45. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like, it's kind of like, we I don't know, we're waiting for, almost kind of waiting for something to be wrong. Like, I feel like we get so comfortable connected to what we're connected to. And
I feel like you're saying that in a negative way, and Trina and I are not. And like, yeah, that's absolutely right. In kind of like a way, like we agree with the way that you're. I don't know. I can't speak for Trina. Let me speak for myself.
In a negative way, what do you mean?
I feel like you're like, yeah, like we can't, we can't keep people at bay and can't keep people at 50 feet away like this. We should let people in. And like that, I feel like that's how you're describing it. And in my mind, I'm like, but no, yeah, that's exactly how things are. Like they don't make it into the inner courts. And then if I see something after I let you come 45, I'm pushing you back to 50. Am I wrong?
I mean, here's the thing. There's no right and wrong way to create your circle or to create your community. I mean, everybody has the freedom to do, you have to create your own surroundings. I'm just saying, like, I feel some of the things is what causes our communities to be, like I said, so disjointed, like, like so disconnected from stuff because of, past experiences. And don't get me wrong, we've all, especially at our age, you've had a friend that did something that was shady. You've had somebody that crushed you. You've had somebody that lied. Like we've all had these experiences because we don't live in a bubble and because people are human and people do stuff. Like, so, but I don't always believe that everything somebody does, even when I don't like it, I don't believe like it's intentional to me. Like, I don't feel like it's always intentional. Like you did that to me. Like that, sometimes I feel like people are, that's kind of you. Now, am I saying that I'm gonna have you over to my house, around my kids? I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying I don't always see it as such a personal thing.
When my daughter first started dancing at the studio that she danced with, she was maybe like 9 years old, and they asked for volunteers for the recital. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna step out my comfort zone. I'm gonna go out here and try to be a dance mom parent and volunteer. So I went there and I went to volunteer in the whatever green room or whatever. And the other parents there were very like standoffish and acting like what are you doing here type thing. When I tell you now, my daughter was at that studio for 9 years. I never, from that one day, never volunteered at this recital ever again. From that one day, I said never again. And maybe I should have said, well, I should go back and maybe it's just these people. I said, no. I said, first of all, it's volunteer. And so you can't make me neck rolling and everything. And so when I started making friends with some of the parents there, I would do things with them. But I said, never again would I volunteer. And and it took me a really long time, almost till she was a senior, for me to kind of open up to some of the other moms there because because of that one experience. And and it's true about community. Even like with some of the other, not now we're football sports moms or whatever, I have my 3 or 4 that I'll talk to. Of everybody else, I'm like,
yep.
Because I'm like, I put myself out there that one time. I did that. I stepped out, and that was the result. So
Yeah, but okay, so think about that situation, right? Wasn't the other people in the room that you was trying to volunteer with, weren't they looking at you like you was the unsub? How you know they right? But that's what I'm saying. Like,
They,
so you
but I was new. I was new to
right.
the studio, so they should. I felt like they should have been a little bit more welcoming to somebody new to the studio
But
than
what
just
if the
being like,
last new person stole kids' costumes or, messed something up? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, with stuff like that, you never know somebody's position if you never have the conversation.
"What
So
I'm,
in that
so I'm
case,
supposed
you're
to ask
saying
them
that
why weren't you welcoming to me?
No,
right.
I
No,
didn't
I'm just supposed
say
to deuces and leave, which is what I did.
not necessarily that conversation, but like you said, you were there for 9 years and now you a football mom and you still replaying that same scenario.
Well, I mean, there's other factors, you know, in my community.
Right.
So, and that makes me feel like, sometimes you know, in in my okay, my community is somewhat diverse, but not really. So I don't when I feel like it's going to be a majority, sometimes I don't feel as comfortable. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't, and that brings in a whole nother thing, you know, especially in this climate that we're in. But it also makes me feel like I don't know. I have to personally have a conversation. Like I can't just walk in. I have to see who you are, where your mind is, how you looking at me before I can feel comfortable in these group settings in my community. You know what I mean?
So
So
how do you broach the conversation then?
usually I don't. Usually they approach the conversation with me, but I think that's mostly my personality, just not being extroverted. But I do sometimes, say, hey, great play, or your son did that today, or whatever. I'll say something. And I really gauge how they, respond to me. If it's then I'm like, and that's it. Like you got one, especially if I step out of my comfort zone and try to all of a sudden be friendly or something. Whoo, you better take that one chance because I really did something. For me to step out and like try to be friendly or something, child, that's like big. So I mean, you might not know it, but like
Right.
it's
I, I don't know
I just
that.
did a big thing. You don't understand. I just did a big thing by like speaking to you first or starting a conversation. That was like, you know how much that took for me to start a conversation with somebody I don't know? Like that was a whole thing.
But
So
what if
like if
I
you
have
don't
the
respond
same
correctly to that, that's it.
What if I have the same anxieties you have?
That's just too bad because I
You're
just
not gonna
did
be
a
right.
whole I had to overcome so much just to come out and talk to you. So listen, if it don't work out that time, that's it. I can't do it again. That's a lot.
So I make jokes with my kids about how when new neighbors move in, how I'm gonna bake them a cake and go over to their house and like greet them. I'm just talking junk. I'm not going to do that. Like because I really do feel like Trina is that it takes a lot um to kind of immerse myself into a new situation and be comfortable with it. So then if I feel a bad vibe when I do try, I'm done. Like I'm like I did all of this to get ready and to try this. And then I show up and I feel a bad vibe and I feel like I'm done. I am absolutely I went all of I can't even tell you. So the youngest one 12, 13 years or longer being a football mom, and I could probably count the number of friends that I made on one hand. Literally because like I have an aversion to putting myself in situations like that. Like I'm going to run, and if I'm not already like probably sweating under my underarms, even at like, just trying to have a whole conversation. I'm not going to do. I was telling somebody today at work, we had to have these wellness sessions in the mornings, when we have like days where the kids don't come, and we're supposed to get together and do like these de-stressing events together. And so the last time we did one, and I looked at the list, and I really didn't want to do any of these things because it involved me interacting with people. And I was just like, and it had nothing to do with COVID. Like, I don't want to do this. If there was no COVID, I would still feel the same way. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, looks like, oh my God. So I figured I'll take the easy route. I'll do the coloring activity. And I went to the coloring activity, and I was so stressed. It was supposed to de-stress me. And I was so stressed the whole time. I didn't want to be coloring. I didn't want to be around these people. I didn't want to color with them. I didn't want to talk about coloring with them. And it was more stressful, like processing this whole process. So for tomorrow, we have another one coming up, and they sent out the list of all the wellness activities that we're supposed to, select from. And I was more excited that someone told me I had a meeting that I had to go to, than to pick a wellness session that's supposed to de-stress me from the meetings that I have to go to. I was like, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to do my job. Right. So I'm more excited about going to a meeting tomorrow so I can avoid the wellness section, because in the wellness section, people want to talk and interact, and I don't want to do that with y'all. I don't want to, because like I'm already like, and then if I feel something that makes me feel like you're not including me, or like you don't want me to be a part of, I already felt some kind of way coming, and now you're making me feel some kind of way now that I'm here. I gotta go. I'm gonna go back to my room by myself. And I'm okay with
that. Okay, so Trina, you said you're not really like the witnessing type. You kind of feel like your best witness is people seeing your life. And Shanetta, you agree with that? People seeing your life. If y'all keep people so far away, what do they see?
They see that I'm nice.
How?
They have to observe this.
Like, how do I see you nice if when you see me, you like?
And you can be nice to people and not be close to them. It's the whole associate thing, and I'm fine with that. Like, you don't have to be like in my,
bubble,
in my bubble, in my space, because I can I can talk to you, all day surface, and that's what when I was out in the workforce, I talked to people, and it was surface. At the end of that conversation, you knew nothing about me. You know what I mean? If I had to hold a conversation, I can still hold a conversation with you. And, we'll talk about what we need to talk about or whatever. I'd be very nice or whatever, but you still didn't know my inner thoughts or my, but even in that, I'm going to be nice to you.
Yeah. I think people can observe you in your natural element, just doing things, and they can kind of pick up on your energy, the kind of person you are, your spirit, just by observing you with what you do normally. Kind of like the situation where you haven't said a word, haven't been, deeply involved, and somebody says it's just something different about you. It's just, I've seen people like that and not know anything about them, and like it's just something different about that person. And then as you begin to investigate or get closer to them, you kind of investigate. Investigate. Sometimes you got to investigate people. Like, listen, you got to investigate sometimes before you like let people, break the bubble and come inside the inner courts. You got to get to know them, because like I can't just be inviting everybody in. Because again, you might be, you might come in here messing up the peace that I have because you all messy and shady and stuff. So.
Okay.
I mean, Sam, you know that it took a lot, even when you first invited me to participate, even in this, and just in general, it was just kind of like, Okay, I don't know, but okay.
I mean, to be honest, this is a lot. Like, I post stuff on my Facebook page and I put pictures up of the kids, stuff like that. But that's kind of it. So this is a lot. This is a lot even for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I still wonder why I'm on here. Like, so trust me, like I get it. I
Yeah.
I so get it. This is not, like people that be looking forward to this type of stuff, still boggles my mind because it can be a lot. It definitely can be a lot. So I'll agree with you there. I don't know. I just, for me, the conversations are, like kind of therapeutic. Some of the things we see every day in our communities or don't see, all the things, especially, we got secrets for days. Our families got secrets, our grandmammy them, like in our communities, there's always some hidden secrets, some hidden something, so many things that go untalked about.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can go to church with somebody for 15 years, and like you said, it just be surface. Like they don't, they have no idea who you are at your core. They have no idea. I get that everything can't be public. Everything can't be, general knowledge for everybody. But like they just don't know, I don't know, don't know your heart, don't know your struggles. Um, and it just always makes me think, like, how is it like us as a community? I feel like sometimes, the strength is in numbers. Like, when I'm having a rough day, I have to remind myself not to go in my room and close the door and not look at my phone because I don't want to feel connected to anybody. I don't want to talk. I don't want anybody trying to make me feel better. Um, but that just makes me feeling worse last longer. Like I don't get um the pull of nobody else. The pull of somebody saying, "Girl, tomorrow's a new day," or the pull of somebody saying, it'll get better, or even if it don't get better, girl, I got your back. Like, those things that we can disconnect ourselves from. So I always think about, the strength that is in numbers. Sometimes just somebody being there makes all the, all the difference. Like I had talked to Trina, I had talked to Lisa one day last week, and then she sent me a text this morning. I didn't see it. And so when I didn't respond to the text, she called like, "Hey, I'm just calling. You all right?" And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I just didn't kind of see the text. But when she called me, it kind of, made me, okay, Sam, you need to get up, snap out of it. Like she didn't even really say that much. It was a really short phone call. But she was like, "Well, I text you and you didn't respond. So I needed to call and check." And it's sometimes it's the littlest things I feel like that we can do for other people or even allow people to do for us. Because sometimes people see you and they see that, something could be wrong. You look like you're having a hard day, but they don't know how to approach you. They don't know how to say it's okay. They don't know if they could say, "Let me give you a hug," or maybe, a lot of people at home, "Let me send you an edible fruits." Like sometimes people don't know how to connect to you.
Right.
Um, so I think it's important to keep having the conversations and keep exploring different ways of how we can be more connected to our families, to our communities, to, our neighbors, what have you. So we're gonna keep talking about it in one way or another. We're gonna keep tossing this ball around, tossing around these conversations, and we're gonna work it out till we discover the best versions of ourselves or keep tripping over the current versions. So thank you guys for joining me. We are here every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. So until next week, stay safe and wear a mask.